Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Lili Nishmasim Yosef Mordechai. Just one short email. I got to show you some of the pictures from the safari. Of course, all of them I took myself. What did I just do? I think I just turned off my computer. Wow. Okay, so you know what? Instead of wasting everybody's time, we're going to go straight to... I hit that button, the off button. What's that thing on the bottom? Oh, here we go. You ready? Shkoyach. Look at Neflois HaBoira. I don't know if you could see all the different colors. Do you know how to say good morning, Rabbi Isai? What's your name? Nasan. You know how to say good morning, Rabbi Isai? No. Okay. This is Peres Chaim Levin. The name of the store manager came to Yashir is Ilan Sharf. This is Gourmet Glatt in Woodmere. Look how big, the massive store. And he's followed his chair. I said, so do you have a sign in Yashir? He said, no. I said, okay, no, let's go. He said, Adarabba. It's 4:30 in the morning. My eyes are closing, but I just finished Daf Beis. My name is Shmaya Fisher. I'm a singer and the owner of a school supplies arts crafts company. I read your interview in the Ami and lately came across your interview on Meaningful People. What broke the ice for me to finally give us the sheer try was the exposure you gave my good friend Hershey Weinberger from the Shira choir last Friday. I figured if he can do it, I can too. After all, we work together some nights. I contacted him to sign up, started to learn immediately. Today was extremely challenging for me. Started the day with some business duties in Muncie, Kitzer, Crown Heights, 3 a.m. in the morning. I need to do that. I'm glad I can keep my commitment. It's only because of the encouragement you're doing every day, showing you how other people are overcoming the obstacles and learning. I attached a screenshot from my status, which I especially do to challenge myself in public, so to give me that extra push. Thank you and hatzlacha. Yosef, you'll put it in there, right? Shkoyach. Oh, here's another picture. I'm very proud of this picture because you see the water spraying out of the giraffe's mouth. Oh, and what does this say here? 34% of the people watching the shir are not subscribed. So please subscribe to whatever platform you are watching it on because it makes the shir easier for others to find, says Yosef. Before we get to the sponsors, let's do a quick, I'm not a Rebbe, but Moshe Hirsch every single week publishes the Ara Merkaz. There's a lot of great information here. This week, Lamashal starts off with Zalman Twersky, Harav Zalman Twersky, a taste of Chasidus. We have a little bit of Svardisha things in here. We have Baal Tshuva stuff. We have Daf topics every single week by Rabbi Schoenberg. It was very interesting this week because I should have spoken about it. I think we're a shtickle right over here. We don't have a makkah up there. And Beis Medrash is potter. People could die here, no problem. It's fine. If kids fall off. My house is probably also Beis Medrash. That's why I don't have. He was talking about if you live on the 5th floor and the window is less than 10 tfachim from the floor, do you have to put bars there? Halachically, not halachically, good stuff. Anyway, we have Rav Gav here. All sorts of stuff. So without further ado, Rav Moshe Hirsch, who's a Litvak, sort of. But today there's no difference between Litvaks and Hasidim. It's all a big mix. They go to Shalom Aleichem Nasan. He doesn't want to do it. First, let's start with some candy. Which candy do you like? You could have 2. And what else? Ooh, those are 2 good ones. Okay, you ready? First, we have this. I don't even know how to do this anymore. It's a lot of practice for Yosef Klein. Look at this Aleph Beis. You know Aleph Beis? What is this? You're supposed to put honey on it. And Zach in here, we got some honey. Should I put honey on it? And you're going to lick it off? It's yummy. This is like candy. Sweeter than candy because Torah is so sweet. Aleph Beis Gimel. Aleph Mem. What's this? It's a birdie, right? Tough. MS. Aleph Mem Tough. Bekitzer, let's chop his hair and let's go weiter. Woo! Did anybody cut his hair yet? Wow, what a zchus, what a zchus. You want payas and tzitzis? Yeah, you're a big boy. You going to cheder? So where do I come from? Tell me what. No, but this is payas. No, this is the top. Okay, you ready? I'm not cutting that much. I have to have kavanas yichudim. Okay. All right, now you get all of this. The koilel, we got to go learn Torah. Shkoyach Moshe, thanks for everything you do. Do you know how to say good morning, Rabbi Isai? He knows, right?
Yes, every morning.
Every morning.
Except today.
Yishkoyach Moshe for everything. I know he puts in hours every single week, so Yishkoyach. The koilel, sponsored by Anonymous, for all the new people that joined. The koilel is sponsored by Avrum Epstein in memory of Rachel's mother, Reza Gittel Bas Esther Rita Shabia Malitzi Shara, on behalf of us and our children. The Masechta is sponsored Lili Nishmas. Could you give me the right way to say it? Oh, you said Baruch ben Moshe Aaron, Lili Nishmas Moshe Elazar ben Nata Shalom. Ever that hatzlacha v'chol anyanim for my children. Beautiful. By Jeff Rosner, the Masechta is sponsored by Jeff Rosner. In zchus of my son, Yosef Simcha Chaim ben Sara Chana, Refuah Shlaima, by the Lock and Lebovic family, Lakewood New Jersey, because Torah is the best Segula. And Lili Nishmas, Zechariah ben Moshe, by Benjy Estie Israel Family, in memory of our Zayde Moshe Menora and 3 cousins, Sara Klein, Ricki Racheli Menora, on their 12th yard side. And Shabbos should all have an aliyah. Dr. Avrum Epstein, in memory of my precious Southern Belle, wife, mother, and grandmother, Rita Gay Epstein. You knew them?
Israel.
Oh, but what about Menora? Menora. Chicago. By Michael Bemela, Motty Perl Aaron Hirsch, to be zchus to make it to Uman Rosh this year. The Paras HaYoyim, Rav Natan Tzvi Ben Elio Koslovitz, on his 12th yard side is today. In zchus of a successful trip to Eretz Yisrael and attending MDY Daf live in RBS. Who's that? That's you. Yaakov Cyril.
We put you on front cover before Anna, Queen's Jewish Love.
Wow. See, you have a step up on everybody else. Shkoyach. Razi Jaffe and family upon the 9th yard side of her beloved father, Mickey Morad. Moshe Yaakov ben Reb David. Moshe Yaakov ben David. I'm not sure if you want to read this. Maybe I shouldn't say that. No, I know. My Moshe asks for that hatzlacha of cleangreensfarmers.com. Hashtag Torah is the best gula. I want to say, here we go. Daf Mem Dalid. We have to do it in 29 minutes. Omar Mar, 3 lines from the top of Mem Dalid Amud Aleph. You have it, guys? The food is coming around. First of all, welcome to all the guests. Name? Yair Myers from Chicago. You we know from the 5 towns.
From Queens.
Adam Laboto. Can't say it like that. One minute, you're not from, I forgot where you're from. No, funny name. What is? Edgeware, that's right. Edgeware. Who else do we have here? Oh, Cost is here from Manchester. Wow. And what's your tzaddik's name? Kogel? Yair from? Cincinnati. And behind you? Wow, we got 2 guys.
Chaim Sherman from Neve Daniel.
Chaim Sherman from Neve Daniel. Shalom Aleichem. And? From? Neve Daniel. Many guys have been from Neve Daniel. Shalom Aleichem. Wow. Do we have any guys that are from Ramat Beit Shemesh? Shalom Aleichem. David Ryan from Lakewood. Okay, we have one guy from Ramat Beit Shemesh. Shalom Aleichem. Avi Gagir. Omar. So let's go to the chart. We have here, chart 1, we have a woman who received 2 Kesubos. One Ksuba number 1 happened in Adar, Ksuba number 2 happened in Iyar. And in between, the husband sold off some of his properties. So we had a shayla yesterday, which Ksuba is the real Ksuba? Which one does she get to collect from? Is it 1 or 2? Ksuba number 1 says 200 zuz. Ksuba number 2 says 300 zuz. Iboy gavya, bahai gavya, iboy bahai gavya. So we learned that she could decide which one she wants. Now, if she chooses 300, sometimes you choose the larger amount and you get 0, because, as you see in Aleph Nisan, the husband sold off his properties and now she doesn't have the guarantee anymore. If she'll go for the lesser amount, for the 200, she's guaranteed to have any nechasim that he owned after that time. So she has a choice. She could pick. Lema pligi de Rav Nachman. Perhaps Rav Nachman is mechulik on this. Rav Nachman shnei shtaros. Now it seems like the same exact case, but instead of a ksuba, you have a shtar. Here's the picture. Here you have a shtar that it says, I sold this field to Reuven, and that happened in the first of Adar. In the first of Iyar, 2 months later, it says the same exact thing. I sold this field to Reuven. Now, when it comes to fields, when I sell something, if the people I owe money to come around and take and collect whatever they come to collect, I have an achrayis. I give you an achrayis. If I sell you something, I'm selling it to you that if somebody's going to grab it afterwards, I'm going to make it up to you. Now, right after the first shtar, I sold off my real estate. So when it comes to the second shtar, I don't have anything to back it up with. So which one is the real shtar? Is it the first shtar or the second shtar? It's basically the same case of 2 Kesubos. So over here, though, we have a different halacha. Over here, Rav Nachman says that the second one is what counts. The second one says, look, this is the new version 2.0. First version, we ignore whatever happened in Adar, cancel that. We wrote a new shtar, we signed on it, we have Eidim, so it's whatever the second one says. Now the second one is the same exact as the first one, but the second one doesn't have anything to back it up. There's no property that he owns that could back it up. Bitul Sheni Sarisha. Says the Gemara, well, that's not such a good raya that Rav Nachman argues on Ksuba. Why? Lav mi itmar Allah, because if you look over here, what happened? It's the same exact field in the green, same exact field in the blue. Nothing changed in regard to the content of the shtar. It's the same exact amount. It's 1 acre of land over here, it's 1 acre of land. But that's not what happened in the Ksuba. What happened in Ksuba? One was 200, one was 300. So he actually added. So it's addendum to the shtar. It's an addition to the first shtar. Rav Nachman agrees the oisiv badikla here. You see in the second shtar he added a little palm tree to the field. He said, not only is it an acre of land, but I'm also giving you the palm tree. I always talk about it because when I met this guy in Mapet Shemesh that he sells dogs for like $100,000 a dog. The German shepherds that he trains to smell the bugs in palm trees. And they also smell dollars, different things that he trains them to do. Seriously, he sells them to the government, the United States. They could smell dollars in suitcases, they could smell drugs, but they're trained to smell this bug in a palm tree because every palm tree, he told me some crazy number, I don't remember, $15,000 worth of dates per tree. It's a serious amount, 5,000, 15,000, I don't remember anymore, a lot of money per tree. So don't just think, he's throwing in a palm tree. He's throwing in $5,000 a year of profits. The ayah about dikla l'toisefes kasvei. If he added on a palm tree, so now the blue shtar that he did in Iyar 2 months later is just in addition to the first shtar. And therefore what? He could decide which shtar he wants now. Because the second shtar is in addition to the first shtar. So either you go with the first shtar, or go with the second shtar and try to get all 300. he might lose everything. Over here, he went from 200 to 300. So it's not that he rewrote the shtar. He didn't rewrite the shtar. He said, whatever ksuba I gave you in Adar, I'm going to add 100 to it. Now just saying the same words over. The second one cancels out the first one. If he added a palm tree, it's in addition to the first time. Pshita, now the Gemara says halachas. This is simple. Geshmak halachas we're learning here. Again, shas katan, different musagim that we might have not known yesterday. If the first star is a star mechira, it says, I sold you the field. And the second star says, I gave you the field as a gift. What's going on here? Why would he do that? The guy paid $1 million for this land, and then a minute later, he writes him a star, I gave it to you as a gift. Because there's an amazing halacha called bar metzra. Bar metzra means, if I have a field right next to Shimon's field, and Shimon goes and sells it to Reuven, after he sells it, it's already done. The guy is celebrating, he bought a great field. The bar metzra, the guy that's right next door, could come and say, listen, I'm taking your field, I'm buying your field, I'll give you back the money, whatever you paid, but I get to buy it first. I'm the bar metzra, the famous halacha. Why? Because the Torah is very concerned about people and their convenience, and you got to be a nice guy. And the guy has a tractor right there. He plows his field all day long. It only makes sense that he should be the one purchasing the field right next door. So he doesn't have to schlep his tractor on a trailer every day and go 2 miles down the road and start plowing over there. Over here he just goes back and forth, and now it's one large field. You just purchase the field there, go find another field somewhere else. You hear what's going on? It's a tremendous chiddush. After he already purchased it, not in the negotiations, he already purchased it, I could go and grab it away from him because of din de bar metzra. Okay. But if I write a matana, that's only good if the guy paid $1 million for the field. So I say, listen, I want to pay the $1 million. He goes directly to the seller. He says, here's $1 million. You give back that guy the money. But if the seller never sold it, he gave it as a gift. Now there's no time of bar metzra. What is he going to say? I have a field next door and I'm plowing. I also want this field. But this field was never sold. It's a gift. You can't claim I want it. You can't demand a gift from somebody. He gave a gift. So it's a loophole how to sell a field to somebody that's, you don't want to deal with this guy. He's a big jerk. He's been a terrible neighbor all these years. Every time you went into his land 1 inch, he came screaming, called the cops on you. Now he wants you to sell him the field. No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sell the field to Shimon, to Reuven, for $1 million, and then a month later, I'm going to write a document that says I gave it to him as a gift. Now the bar metzra can no longer come and claim it. Says Tosfos, but he can't show the first star. So everybody talks about like what? You were teaching him how to lie. Hide the document that says it was sold. Show the bezdin the document that's a gift, and the neighbor can't have any claim. Okay. So no. If the star that was written in Adar was a sale and the second star was a gift, why did he write the second star? To add to the first star, it's not to cancel the first star, it's to make the first star better, and that there's no mishum din of the bar metzra, and there's no din of bar metzra. Interesting. Some Sofer says, Rabbi Yitzchak Eibshit says that the Torah is also the same thing. The Torah is given to us as a gift, Torah nasati lochem, whatever the lashon over there is, but it's also given as a kinyan. Torah niknas b'memches dvarim. It's a kinyan and a matana. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu did a trick on the malachim. They say it's like a chap. That the malachim are bar metzra, they're right over there in Shamayim next to the Torah. So no, now there's no time of bar metzra because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to us as a gift after He gave it to us b'kinyan. Okay. B'chol shkein rishon b'matana v'sheni b'mecher. If the first star was a gift, and then later on he wrote another star as a mecher. If I give somebody a gift, it has no guarantee. Anybody can come and grab it if I owe money. But if I after I give it to you as a gift. I love you. You're my friend and I give you a gift. Now I'm concerned that doesn't have any achrayas. So I go ahead and I write a shtar as if you bought it from me. So the second shtar is in addition to the first shtar. But as the first case that we learned, the first shtar and the second shtar are a sale. The first shtar and the second shtar are a matana. So what's going on here? Why in the world did he write a second shtar when he has the first shtar? So the second one comes to cancel the first one. My time. Why is it mivatal? So we have a machlokes here, and we have to understand in what case is there a difference in the machlokes. Rav and Momar, very simple. Rav says the reason why the second shtar, when I write one shtar, one document, all of a sudden a month later I produce another document with Eidim and everybody signs it and everybody's okay. Why did I do that? I'm being maida, the buyer is being maida that the first shtar was a falsified shtar. In other words, the Eidim that signed on there are bad people. They're false Eidim. I'm admitting that we dealt with a false shtar. The buyer wrote another shtar because he wanted to say that I'm moichel. You see, there's a house sold there. I'm moichel all the real estate that was sold. I'm not going after that real estate. Me and the seller get along. He wanted to make some money on some of the real estate he had. He sold it. And I am going to write another document saying, I'm not going after that real estate, ever. I bought it. I bought my field after you sold the real estate. In fact, he bought it before, and he has a claim on that real estate. But now he has no claim on the real estate. But tachlis, what's the difference? How does it affect us? The difference between whether the buyer says that I admit that the first shtar was falsified, or whether the buyer says I admit that I just want to be moichel the seller. By him saying that the first shtar is false, he's saying, in effect, that the two Eidim are shakranim. And therefore, what if he says the two Eidim are shakranim? Says Rashi, an incredible thing. They become pasul Eidos forever. The pasul, the bad guys, they wrote a falsified shtar. As Taisvus, how does one guy have the right to say the two Eidim are false and pasul them forever? Says Taisus, he can't use them. He's admitting that they're bad people, and therefore for him, if he has another shtar produced by those two Eidim, he can't use it. But Rashi doesn't say that. If I admit that I never bought the field, then all the produce of that field for the last year, the last 2 months in this case, is not mine. So I'm admitting that it's not mine. I have to pay back the seller. But if I say, no, I really bought it back then, and all the fruit and all the produce I used was mine, I am just being moichel the guarantee. I'm being moichel the real estate. Okay, but he doesn't have to pay for the fruit. Ulataska, the property taxes. Who has to pay property taxes? If I admit I never owned it, so was it mine? If it's mine, then I have to pay property taxes. I said this before, but as a community service, anybody that's thinking about buying real estate, the pros I'm not really talking to. I'll ask you a shayla if you're a pro in real estate. You're a pro, right? You have a lot of real estate. Yes, okay. Toronto. It's not. When you buy a property and you look at all the numbers and everything looks, you have to do your due diligence and everything looks good. You're going to make a lot of money on this property. What could go wrong? What number could all of a sudden be inflated? Property taxes. Why? Because there's a lot of, they reassess the property sometimes when you purchase. You bought it in 1970 for $100,000. You just sold it for $20 million. So the government says, wait, now the property's worth $20 million. I have to reassess the property taxes. You did all your numbers. You said you're going to make $1 million profit. And now they're going to all of a sudden give you a property tax bill that's $1 million. You just lost money on the property. That's A. Talking from experience. In the 2008, all of a sudden, Indiana decided that they're going to raise my property taxes by 150%, something mishuga. I had to go to a heart. I said this once. I went to a heart specialist because I couldn't sleep at night. I thought I was going to lose all my properties. All my profit was in the toilet. But anyways, so a lot of times you have to look at that number. I'm throwing this out. You guys here in Israel don't care about this stuff, but it's a number that no. And also sometimes every 4 years they redo it. or area. So you're looking at this number, you say, well, it's Gival, the rent is X amount, and this, and the expenses. The expenses are going to go up next year by double because the property tax is one of the highest expenses. Okay. Talking about property tax. What? The single highest expense. Not if you have 35 employees on the property or whatever. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Says the Gemara. Might have Allah the Kesubos. So yesterday we had a Shiloh. At one point, maybe we should move this. Just you know who this guy is, right? Okay. The biggest tzaddik in. It's crazy. Okay. What? Remember that time that Noam had a woman from his seminary go to America to recruit girls, and then she got stuck there. So Sara Klein says, "Don't worry about it." He gave her his credit card, and she spent and she did. He doesn't even know this woman garnished. Take my Connecticut. Like his chesed, and he's not this gazillionaire. He's okay. He's comfortable, but he just chesed all day long. Fine. Who knows? He doesn't know. He doesn't care anymore. It doesn't make a difference. It's a guy. You're saying what's the big chesed? I do it every day for my wife. I hear. Yeah. Maya v'alo diksuba. What was that joke with the wife? 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes. Maya v'alo diksuba. So the shaila is, what's the bottom line? When could a woman, again, we're talking about achrayas and a guarantee for a ksuba. When does that guarantee start? Does it start when she gets arusa? Or does it start when she becomes an asua? At what point? It's a year difference. During that year, her chassan, her future husband, could sell off all his property and she has no backup to her ksuba. Monem, mosayim, if it's a ksuba of a mana or it's a ksuba of a mosayim, mina erisin. That's when the 200 and the 100 go into effect. But the extra amount, mina nesuin, that's like Rav Huna we had yesterday. You only get your achrayis nechasim from marriage, from after chuppah. Great. Rabbi say, brand new sugya. We're going into a whole different concept called moitzi shemra. It's very similar to what we learned up until now, oinis mefata, but it's very different. The moitzi shemra is a guy that says that his kala was mezana when she was arusa between the erusin and the suin. So here's the pasuk. Now, I just want to show you these things, the rules. First of all, she has to be a psula, a nara, and a arusa during her erusin. Okay, so those are the three things we had, similar to what we had over there by Oines and said asher lo arusa. Fine. She has to be a psula, a nara, and arusa. If you don't have one of those three things, she's a bu'ula, she's a boigeres, these halachas don't apply. Different halachas apply, but not these. What's special about this? Typically, a woman who's mizana gets chenek. Over here, it's a different type of einish. It's a different misa. It's skila by her father's house. They take her to, she lives wherever she lives, he lives. They take her to the front door of the house. They throw her off, and they start stoning her right in front of his house. Now, that's if this Eidim and everything is good. What if he lied, the man lied? So, I don't know if you recall, we had this whole debate. What's worse? What would you prefer? 39 lashes? By the way, the one thing I have a tsar, and Tomer is going to make it up to me. I was on this, we were driving with Tomer's brother Gili, and one of the guys there, and one of the peddlers in the street, was selling brooms, which they all do. Every block they sell brooms. Somebody once explained me why. I forgot but he's selling a whip. And I got to get this whip, because every time we're going to talk about Malchus, so Gil says, don't worry, they sell it in every corner, I'll get it for you. Never happened. That guy with the whip was a one-time thing with a whip. Beis Hashem told me you're going to make sure that he sends it to me from Africa. It's this tall, he said that they used to use it on the slaves. It's a piece of wood, and the end has a thing. It looks, just to look at it, looks scary. Get 39 of those, or to pay a year's salary. In this case, 2 years' salary, 100. Rabbi Shimon was telling me, it's cooking, but lamaisa, a ksuba and oinus is identical. It's 50 zuz, 50 zuz. Over here, it's double. Think about it. Somebody that violates a woman pays 50. Somebody who says that she was mizanad pays double than a violator. It's unbelievable. The Gemara talks about it. What you could do? What? Almost gets her killed, but he didn't do anything to her. He was mavayisher and doesn't that. Yeah, but words speak louder than action. A guy who's mamsha rapist pays 50. The guy that said that she was okay, I hear attempted murder. I hear. Fine. Al Kapanim, he gets, not only does he get malchus, but he pays. So there's no argument over here that that's really bad because he gets. Then back then we said, what does a person prefer, malchus or to pay? And I went around in shul and I asked different people, and different people said different things. Everybody, a wealthy guy said I'd rather get the malchus. The poor guy said I'd rather pay. It wasn't about wealth and not wealth. Some people maybe they don't understand what malchus is. Once you see that whip, you'll chab, ganz fine. But over here he gets both. It's a tremendous einish. Sponsor for malchus? Oh. So the official Mishnah is sponsored by Moshe Cohen for hatzlacha with limit Torah and parnasa. Says the Mishnah. These halachas don't apply so much to a giyaris later on, because a giyaris later on is a bu'ula, so she's missing. We always say that most likely she's a bu'ula, and especially if she's not a naira. Okay. So hagiyaris is gaira bitaima, but her daughter became a giyaris with her. In other words, even if the daughter was a psula, she became a giyaris when she was a year old with her mother. Vizinsa harezi b'chenek. Here's the pasuk, just so we see the pasuk. Vayitzius hanara. First of all, it has to be naira. El pesach beisavia. Here you see the door of the father's house. Uskalua. It's not chenek. It's skila. V'meisa. If everybody stones her to death, she's going to die. So then why does the pasuk say v'meisa? So that's why it's in purple. We're going to see. Ki asa nevala b'Yisrael. In Klal Yisrael, a terrible thing happened. Listen, this is beisavia. But a giyaris is not b'Yisrael. So Vizinsa harezu b'chenek. She's not included in this b'Yisrael because she became a giyaris later on in life, and memela it's b'chenek. She gets a regular. She's Jewish, so she gets the einish of Eishasish. She's Eishasish, right? She's a narusa. Again, in the time of the Gemara, the guy used to give a ring. She becomes like a Eishasish. She gets chenek. Ein la loy pesach beisav v'loy me'asela. Now, going to, if the man was caught lying and the Eidim are zoymimim that he gets malchus, he's a attempted murderer, so he gets malchus and 100, that doesn't apply to her either. She's not in this parsha. He doesn't get that einish. What if her mother became pregnant with her? Shaloi bigdusha, when she was a gaya, but she gave birth to her when she was already misgayer, harez b'skila. So when it comes to her death penalty, as the Gemara is going to explain from that word v'meisa, special halacha, that her death penalty goes based on how she was born. Since she was born as a Jew, she gets the penalty of a Jew, which is skila, not chenek. However, the other two halachas that are negea to Jews don't apply to her. Gemara is going to explain why. So there's no, you don't. Where do you stone her? By the shari, like by Bezdin, not by the father's house, not in the middle of a neighborhood, a quiet neighborhood. And the guy doesn't get punished if he's found as a liar. 100. However, if she was born, the pregnancy, she was already, her mother was Jewish. Her birth was, of course, Jewish. That's pashut. She's a Jew like any other Jew. Now the Mishnah switches gears a little bit. A regular Jewish woman, yesh lo av and lo pesach beis av. What if her father's homeless, doesn't have a house? So you would think perhaps the Torah says, where do you do the skila? In front of the house, but there is no house. Okay, she's patur from skila. No, it's not a ma'akev. Let's say her father died. He left over a house, but there's no father. Again, it's not ma'akev. Daf Mem Dalet Amud Beis. We're going to do this all in 1 minute. Moshe Horn in honor of Zach the Rocklin, and Lenny Lerner CPA, and Udi Newman in honor of Rebelli, and okay, I forgot to write it down again. Minani Mili. How do we know this idea that there's a difference between a Rasa Shalabikdusha, that if she was conceived by a non-Jewish mother, then you get skila. So we go back to the pasuk again. Not here. V'meisa. I can explain before. If the whole entire city is standing there with rocks, throwing it on her head, you know what's going to happen? She's going to die. They already cycle her. So the word v'meisa is extra to teach us that she dies. This case. Now, there are 3 cases. There's a case of green. She was conceived as a Jew, her mother was Jewish, and she was born, her mother was Jewish. There's the red. Her mother wasn't Jewish when she was conceived, her mother wasn't Jewish when she was born. And then you have the middle case, the blue. Half and half. She wasn't conceived when her mother was Jewish, but her mother became a Geras during pregnancy, and she gave birth to a Jew. So we are saying that the word v'meisa, you see on top, v'meisa is going on the middle case. That's very pashut, because if it's going on the green case, everybody understands that she's 100% Jewish. Her mother, before she was conceived, her mother already became a Jew. To say that she gets a penalty when she's a complete goyad, it's impossible. So Mamela, the word v'meisa has to be on half and half. That's what the Gemara is saying here. Wait a minute. If she's going to get a death penalty like a regular Jewish woman, which is skila in this case, not chenek, so how come the man goes scot-free? He doesn't have to get malchus. He doesn't even pay 100. The whole chiddush is about the death penalty and not for the knas. Maybe he's coming to say the green case where she was also conceived. You don't need a pasuk for that. She's a regular Jew. Perhaps it's going to say the red case, she's not Jewish. The pasuk says she has to be Jewish. So we're going to have a machlokes here. If somebody doesn't have a father, a girl doesn't have a father, and her husband was Moitzi Shemra on her, said that she was Mizana. Potter. Special Ptur according to Rabbi Yossi. Why? She has to have a father. It says in the pasuk of Mefata here, the bottom one. The guy can marry her, but what if the father refuses to let this menuvel guy marry his daughter? He's just mefater. So he has to pay the 50, the fine to the father. Now it says a double lashon, ma'in yimain. L'rabis yisami liknas. Also in a case where there is no father around, and the girl herself refuses to marry him, she gets the knas. But here's the problem. Right above that, you see, it says, that's a pasuk by Oinus. But we already know the famous Gzer Shavah between Oinus and a Mefata. So let's pretend that it says by Mefata, the bottom pasuk, it also says Lavi Hanara. Lavi Hanara means, according to what you're telling me now, that if the father doesn't exist, he's dead, there's no knas at all. We just said that if somebody's Moitzi Shemra on an orphan, Potter, there's no knas. Why? Because it says Lavi Hanara, not this Lavi Hanara. It says somewhere else. It says by Moitzi Shemra also Lavi Hanara. No. So based on that logic, there shouldn't be any knas by a mefata if the father's not around. Because it says Lavi Hanara, and he has to be alive, and he's not alive, so there shouldn't be a knas. Says the Gemara, he has the question, he has the answer. You're right. Ein hachinami. You need a father to get a knas. If she's a pure Yisayma, there is no knas. Because it says Lavia Nara. So what is this talking about? That she has the right to refuse him and she gets the knas? If her father died after the violation, after the pitui, and then the father died, she became a Yisayma. Now she's mimayin, she doesn't want to marry him, she gets the knas. But ein hachinami, if she was a Yisayma before the violation, she doesn't get it. Why? Because it says Lavia Nara. Says Gemara, Rav Omar. So Rav says no. That if somebody's Moitzi Shemrani Yisayma Chayiv, I say you're Chayiv. Mimai. How do I know this? Midatani Ami. It says over here, Ki Hoitzi Shemra al Bsulas Yisrael. See the pasuk. Bsulas Yisrael v'loy Bsulas Gerim. The parsha of Moitzi Shemra is not on a psula of a ger, only on a Yisrael. Now the question is, a ger, what's a ger? A ger is kikotan shenoila dami. Rashi goes in, not exactly sure why, he says that their zera is mafkia, the zera, zir masusim. Okay, but the bottom line is, kikotan shenoila dami. So she has a halacha of a Yisayma. If you're telling me that Rav is saying that you're chayiv, and I'll prove it to you. Why? Because it makes sense that you're chayiv. That's why the pasuk comes to exclude a ger, a Yisrael that was moitzi shemrani Yisayma chayiv. But on a ger, because they have this pasuk, Yoitzi shemra absulas Yisrael potter. Eli happens to be so kagam the potter. Hashem Yisrael potter begerim baya. So of course a Yisayma has a knas. Now this is a freebie, Rabbi Isai. We learned this word for word 4 days ago. Unless you were watching the rhinoceros in the background, it could be you didn't chap the whole thing. So we'll do a chazara now. If you're moitzi shemra on aktana, this whole parsha that we just learned about, moitzi shemra. He's saying that his kalo was mizana during Erusin. It says in the pasuk, we said there's 3 things you need, right? Here, let's go back. You need a psula, a naira, and a arusa. And she's not a naira, she's in the middle. She's missing the naira. Why? Because she's a ktana. What? With the hay. Mole with the hay. You're telling me the only reason you know it's not a ktana? Because it has a hay. He says, unbelievable. It says in the pasuk, you give her skila. Where do you give a skila? Beisavia. The whole thing, Pesach Beisavia. How can you give a ktana skila? There's no einish for a ktana ever. So obviously, I don't need that nara. Hey, not hey. I know it's not a ktana. You can't punish her. Says the Gemara, okay, 1 line and then we're done. Elokan naro, hokomokim shenema naro, without a hey, afilu ktana b'mashma. So just to remind you, here, Von choice in Meir Kesef, which case is Meir Kesef, Rabbi say? 50 Kesef is Oynes Mefata. 100 is our case of Moisés Shemra. Over here it says naro with a hey. I don't need this naro with a hey, because you can't kill a girl if she's 11 years old. But why does it say with a hey? Because to tell you that every other place in the Torah, which by the way, almost every other place that says nara, it says without a hey. Over there, it comes to exclude. Here, nara afilu ktana b'mashma. To tell you that in every other case, over here, nara is even a ktana. We had a machlokes whether it's a ktana or not, but he holds that because it doesn't have a hey, it's mashma. A ktana as well. Rabbi say, have a wonderful day. Menachem, what time is Shabbos? For real? What time is Motzei Shabbos? I don't know. 10 o'clock, Motzei Shabbos, Bezer Hashem Yisborach. Have a wonderful Shabbos.